Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today's topic is going to be about the concept of the Atma Karaka. In the Parashara system of Vedic astrology, which was developed by sage Parashara, there is a concept of Karakas, but they are the Sthira Karakas, which means the fixed Karakas. This means that no matter whose chart you look at, the Karakas are going to be the same. Jupiter will always be the Karaka for children, Venus for relationships, Saturn for grandparents, Mars for siblings, and so on. It doesn't change. It's going to be the same Karaka in everybody's chart. But in the Gemini system of astrology, and remember, the Gemini system was created by sage Gemini, who used to be a student of sage Vedavyasa. In the Gemini system of astrology, the Karakas are not sthira or fixed. They are called the Chara Karakas, which means they can change. They're always changing. The reason for this is, in the Gemini system of astrology, the Karakas are determined based on the degree of the planets in a person's chart. So one person could have a certain set of Karakas based on the degrees of the planets in their chart, and the other person can have a completely different set of Karakas. So this is why they are called the Chara Karakas. Now the first Karaka that we are going to talk about, and we will be having videos on each of the Karakas every week. The first Karaka we'll be talking about is the Atma Karaka. The Atma Karaka is the planet which has the highest number of degrees in a person's chart. So if you want to look up a chart and see what the Atma Karaka is, you can go to my website. There is a chart calculator on my website. You can enter your information and it'll give you the chart with all the planets and the degrees the planets are at. The planet with the highest degrees in the chart is called the Atma Karaka. Atma in Sanskrit means soul, and Karaka means the proponent of the soul, the purpose. So when we talk about the Atma Karaka, it's the soul's purpose on this planet in this lifetime. Now, before we go any further, I want to tell you we do not use the outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto in Karaka calculations as any of the Karakas, in fact. And when it comes to Rahu and Ketu, there are two schools of thought. There is the 7 Karaka system, which excludes Rahu, and then there is the 8 Karaka system, which includes Rahu. So, and I know astrologers who use both, but I personally use the 7 Karaka system by excluding Rahu. Now, if you decide to use Rahu, make sure when you're calculating the degrees, it has to be subtracted from 30. So for example, if you're looking for the planet with the highest degrees in your chart, and Rahu is at say 27 degrees of any particular sign, then you wouldn't take the degrees of Rahu as 27, you would take it as 3 because it has only moved 3 degrees within that sign. Remember, the nodes always move backwards. So the Rahu would have only moved 3 degrees to get to 27. It hasn't moved 27 degrees. So the whole idea behind the Atma Karaka is the planet which has moved the longest or the most number of degrees within a sign. So it's considered to be the most mature planet in a way. So when you're using Rahu, make sure that you are subtracting it from 30 degrees. Now coming back to the Atma Karaka. As I said, it's the soul's purpose. Anywhere you read up on the internet or on YouTube, you're going to hear about the Atma Karaka signifying, the purpose of the soul. It's the physical appearance of the person. It's the vitality. And it is also, since it's the planet with the highest number of degrees, it kind of embodies all the meanings of the first house. So that's the reason why it's the self and the physical appearance and the vitality and all of that. But one thing that I want to kind of really talk about in this video is, yes, anywhere you read about it, you'll hear about it being the soul's purpose. But then when I teach my course on Gemini, my students always ask me, what does that mean? I mean, what is the soul's purpose? I can look at the 10th house and see what the person's career is. Is that the purpose, or, what is the soul's purpose? So the whole idea behind the Gemini system of astrology, from my studies of this particular system, what I've seen is that there is a lot that is in the system of astrology that's dependent on psychology. Now, when we talk about the soul's purpose, what is the true meaning of the soul's purpose within us? Now, when we are in this human body, when the soul is in the human body, there is a desire that we show outside, and then there is the inner desires, which we are not sometimes even aware of. So the desire that we show outside is usually governed by illusions or Maya. It's usually governed by what we see around us, what people around us are doing, or what we see on TV and all of that. So those are certain desires, or we sometimes think it's the purpose of the soul, but it's not. It's the outwardly desires of this of the soul or the body. Now, most of the time we are under the wrong notion that by fulfilling these worldly desires, we are satisfying the soul. But in reality, this is not so. When material desires are fulfilled, we are constantly trying to do more and more. It's an unquenchable appetite. And the person will have more and more desires. They have a house, then they'll want a bigger house. They have a car, they'll want a bigger car. So it's constantly they're trying to fill this void, which cannot be filled because it's material desires. And that is not the meaning of the Atmakaraka. The Atmakaraka is the true purpose of the soul on this planet. And that's why this planet is very important. And this concept is very important because when somebody comes to you and they don't know what they have to do in this lifetime, this is one of the planets that you can look at. What is the true desire of the soul? The soul's true desire is to get off the cycle of rebirth and attain moksha. Now, as we search for the fulfillment of all kinds of false desires or outwardly desires, I'm not saying it's not important. Sometimes it's important to satisfy outwardly desires to even think about what you want, what your soul wants, right? So I'm not saying that's wrong. But as we continue to fulfill these outwardly desires, sometimes we forget and we ignore the soul's purpose. Okay, this battle between the outer and the inner desire, they continue. And the struggle to kind of understand the difference between these two kinds of desires is the struggle of the soul. Now, not being able to differentiate between these two is the reason why we continue to take birth over and over again. And where this Atmakaraka is placed in the chart, its dignity, its strength, that will tell us whether how easy or how difficult it is for this person to realize their true purpose or the soul's true purpose on this planet. So sometimes when we look at the Atmakaraka, we see that, it's in a certain strength, in a certain sign. It could be exalted, it could be retrograde, it could be Vargotama. So there are various factors that you can think of in order to see what the strength of the planet is. When you look at the strength of that planet, that's what is going to tell you how easy it is to fulfill the purpose of that Karaka or the Atmakaraka. So that, as far as I'm concerned, that's what I feel the meaning of the Atmakaraka is. It's the soul's true purpose during this lifetime. Now we'll go over each one of the planets and see what the meaning is when these planets are the Atmakaraka in a person's chart. So the first planet we are going to look at is Sun. Sun is the life giver. So when sun is the highest degrees in a person's chart, and it's the Atma Karaka, usually the person will be a leader. They'll be always focused on being successful in everything. They would want fame, power. They are considered, their friends would consider them as a rock, a person they can really depend on. And they're noble, they're regal, they are self-inspired, and they are also an inspiration to others when sun is the Atma Karaka. And what is the challenge when the sun is not in a good dignity? The challenge would be letting go of ego and learning to be humble. So that's the meaning of when sun is an Atma Karaka. You will see a lot of leaders have this particular planet at the highest degrees in their chart. And sometimes when it is in the highest degrees, but it is not a strong placement, there will be a lot of prompts for the soul to give up its ego and understand that it needs to learn to be humble, because that's when we learn more. When we learn to give up is when we learn more as a spiritual being. The second planet we'll talk about is the moon. Now, when the moon is the highest degree in a person's chart, what does the moon signify? It signifies nurturing, caregiving. Moon is the natural mother. And a person who has moon at the highest degrees would naturally be very comforting, and they would love to take care of people. You'll see this in a lot of people's charts who are in professions or in lines of work where they are constantly comforting other people, like nurses or doctors. And also you will see that the moon signifies happiness and love and satisfaction. And when this is not in a good placement, what's going to happen is that the soul will have a lot of difficulty in understanding the concept of nurturing, and also how to differentiate between true or false love. It'll be very difficult for the soul to differentiate that. And there will be some sort of unhappiness in the person's life that they'll have to always try and get over in this lifetime. And that's when the Atma Karaka is the moon and it's not in a good placement. That's what you will mostly see. Now, when the Atma Karaka is Mars, Mars is the warrior planet. It's the red planet. It's angry. It's passionate. And with Mars as the Atma Karaka, the person would always be very active, very interested in sports and all kinds of physical activities. And they would love adventure, because remember, Mars rules the sign of Aries. They love adventure. They love to win. They're very competitive and very passionate about what they want to do in life. They are very impulsive, which is not a bad thing, but they are quick to make decisions when Mars is the Atma Karaka. You will see this mostly in the charts of people who are in military careers or sportsmen, because Mars gives that energy. It's the red planet. So it gives that energy of drive and passion and ambition. And when it's the Atma Karaka, that's the quality that it brings in the soul for the soul to learn in this lifetime. And the problem when this planet is not in a good placement is that they would have to sometimes concede defeat, and that's kind of how the soul will then learn to give up this ego of wanting to always win. And they will have to learn to be patient. They have to learn that sometimes when they're competitive about things, they may not always win. They may sometimes lose, and there's always a lesson in losing as well. And then they can try harder. So that's the downside of Mars being the Atma Karaka. When Mercury is the Atma Karaka, what is Mercury? Mercury rules the natural sign of Gemini and Virgo. So when Mercury is the Atma Karaka, the person is an intellectual. They love books. They love to read. They love to learn more and more information. They are always trying to gather information from their surroundings. And it's constantly trying to learn and adapt. And you'll always see them, like they may know everything about a topic which they are not even concerned with, but we are talking about it and they would know everything about it. And that's the Mercury influence. So when Mercury is the Atmakaraka, they would love to teach, they would love to talk. Mercury rules Gemini, which is the natural sign of self-expression. They would love to sing, they would love to express themselves in all possible ways. That is the soul's purpose when Mercury is the Atmakaraka. You'll see them as writers. You'll see them as radio personalities or orators or speakers all the time. Now, when Mercury is not in a good placement, but it is the Atmakaraka, there will be a lot of difficulty in for them to cross these intellectual barriers. They will always be. It will be difficult for them to know what to speak and what not to speak, how to differentiate between that, and that would be the lesson of this lifetime. The next planet is Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of spirituality. It's the higher learning, the enlightenment. And when Jupiter is a Karaka in a person's chart, the Atma Karaka in a person's chart, the person would be a spiritual teacher. They would love to talk about truth and honesty and all kinds of spiritual topics and teach about it. And Jupiter is also, they would love children because, Jupiter is also signifies children. Now, one of the things when Jupiter is the Atmakaraka and it's not at high degrees is, the person could be, there would be a difficulty in tolerating other people's spirituality or other people's point of view. And it's hard for them to understand those different points of view. But again, that's how they will learn to become, to rise above that and become a spiritual being. So with Jupiter as a Atmakaraka, also Jupiter is all about expansion. So it's giving more, very generous. That's the kind of people that you'll see with Jupiter as the Atmakaraka. Venus as the Atmakaraka, the person would be very, very interested in decorating, in creativity, in relationships. Venus signifies relationships, luxury. They love things that are of fine value. They love the luxurious things of life. And when Venus is the Atmakaraka, I usually see people end up in a very creative field. They could be interior decorators. They could be in a field of music. I've seen people are singers when their Venus is in a strong position. They love to dance. All of that is Venus. Venus is anything that signifies beauty and creativity. And the last planet that we'll talk about is Saturn. What happens when Saturn is the Atmakaraka in a person's chart? Saturn signifies duty, responsibilities. Saturn is the strict teacher. And Saturn is also, it signifies government. So you will see people who are government officials in this. It's people who are, they are very responsible about, everything that they do in life. They'll have a to-do list that they'll have to check off of. Very organized, very responsible, and always a kind of a calm disposition about them, because that's Saturn. And one of the things with the Saturn being the Atmakaraka, but if the Saturn is not in a good dignity, is that the person would have to deal with some kind of loneliness in their life. And then as they go through that lesson of life, they'll kind of come out of it and understand what Saturn's trying to teach them, because Saturn is the greatest karmic master. So those are the seven planets I wanted to talk about as Atmakaraka. As I told you, I do not use Rahu in these calculations. I use only the seven planets as the Atmakaraka. And if you have any doubts about what your Atmakaraka is, you should go to my website and use my chart calculator, and you can quickly enter your information and find what is your Atmakaraka. And for those of you who are interested in learning Gemini astrology, I am starting my new course on February, the first week of February. And the link to buy that course will be below this video. And this course will have, like I said, it will have live webinars, there'll be tests, there'll be tutors who can help you. And at the end of the course, you will do a final exam, which will be a live reading of a chart using Gemini concepts that you've learned in the course. And you will also be certified as a Gemini scholar. So that's what I wanted to talk about in today's video. Thank you for listening.